Chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays offside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
Hello and welcome to this week's Goals Eye View. Slightly different this week. No Swanee, he's gigging somewhere down in Devon. Today I'm joined by Rachel and Clive, and we are here to discuss a mixed bank holiday for the Goals. A disappointing defeat away at Horsham, followed up by last-minute antics with a 3-2 win at Playmore. So, let's go straight into it, shall we? We haven't had to spend half an hour dealing with technical difficulties to get this episode underway. So, Horsham away. I referenced it in the preview episode on Goals Eye View. Beware Horsham at your peril. And that's what it turned out to be. A very difficult afternoon for Paul Watton's men. What can you say? It was just shambolic. I was the fortunate one of the three of us to be there. So I guess it's my responsibility to discuss the game in a bit of detail. So a couple of new signings brought in. We had Josh Phillips brought in on loan from Luton Town, and the return of trialist A, Denzel Akimpong. I hope I've got that right, Denzel, on a short-term deal. So we had Josh Phillips coming in, starting on the left side wing. And I actually thought he was pretty decent in the first half. It was quite good to see him getting forward. He delivered a bit of pace on the wing, something that we've been crying out for. Wasn't very effective, sadly, in the second half, but we'll get into the detail of the game shortly. But let's talk about the first half performance. Horsham, to their credit, I thought they played brilliantly and were fully deserving of the victory. As I mentioned on BBC Radio Devon at full time when Harry Salvage came over for a quick word, Torquay United just didn't turn up. They didn't turn up, and it was another difficult afternoon on the plastic. Anything you guys have to say regarding the first half at Horsham? I guess you guys have seen the highlights.
Yeah, I watched the highlights. Well, the lights, no highs to it. Yeah, they didn't perform, did they? It was a little bit of a hangover from last season, I would say, with some of these away performances. I was fortunate in. I only actually say unfortunate. I'd love to have attended more away games, but I only went to Truro and the Hemel Hempstead, and both games, Torquay proved that they can carry good form into away performances. But no, Horsham really was a game to forget, wasn't it, everybody?
What do you think of the goal, Tom? The free kick? Should Hammond have done better, did you think?
I think my anger was more directed at the wall rather than Hammond. First of all, on 45 minutes, I mean, the ball has been allowed to bounce in our own half, which has led to the challenge by Dreyer going in just before half time. It's so close. It's almost on the line of the box. So it's not going to go over the wall. The only way it's going to go through is either through the wall or under the wall. And I don't think you can fault Hammond on that one personally. I think that's a bit harsh. Whether you think the second one, which we'll get onto shortly, is his fault is another matter. But I just think there wasn't. I don't know why they're not. One of them's not got the fault. It might go under the wall. Why we're not just going to one or two stand there? If it goes in over, fair enough. Like there's no cop. But it happened in slow motion almost as well. But I don't think you can fault Hammy for that, to be honest. But in truth, it was the least that Horsham deserved. We didn't really threaten much. I think my main gripe for the first half was we would give the ball away from set pieces. Corners, we played them short. We give the ball away, cheap possession, and they go up the other end. They weren't all that. They had a good first 5 minutes, Horsham. Hammy made a really good save like 30 seconds in at close range, but we had more of the possession, but just didn't do anything with it. I think Jordan Young had a free kick from about 30 yards that tested the keeper, but that's all we really offered in the first half. It was really disappointing. And I think had we gone in 0-0 at half time, actually, probably, that would have been a bit of advantage for us in respects because we were bloody awful. But yeah, I wouldn't lay that on Hammy personally, but I think it's hard. It's hard to say really because
from what I saw, you just said about the slow motion. He was lining the wall up, and then there was was it Young who was away from the wall that
Young was
trying
to the side slightly
formation of it, and the guy just drilled it like slowly from the highlights into the corner. So I'm wondering whether Hammond was unsighted there, or Young leapt up, didn't he? Did that? I don't know. I mean, did it distract Hammond, or? But there was no venom. There was no real power to the free kick, was there? So for what I saw, it was it was almost. I have seen firmer hit back passes. I will say that, which well, quite, yes.
And then we go into half-time, 1-0 down. Paul Watton not very happy on the sidelines at half-time. We came out second half slow again. Again, Horsham treated it like a really big game, and fair credit to them. I hate to use the adjective, but it was almost like it felt like a cup game. It really did. It had all the sort of atmosphere that you would expect from a cup game. Decent setup at Horsham. It's small, it's compact, as I mentioned in the preview episode, and they just dealt with the occasion better than we did. And had we come away with a point, that would have been, lucky us. And it nearly was. It nearly was through Mr. Versatile, Ed Palmer. I mean, what a fantastic volley from him. Great flick on from Jaden Crosby, who came on. And Ed Palmer slotted it home for 1-1, and it looked, for all intents and purposes, Clive, that we were going to scupper away with a point there.
Well, that should have been it, shouldn't it? Really, and then I'm sure you've got your view on the winner. I have seen it. It's one of them things you wake up on Sunday morning and you watch it until you're sick, don't you? Really. Oh my God! So Denzel has to do something with the ball. He's facing the goal. He's got two options really. He either hoiks it out for a free for a throw in or a corner that he might have got a little bit of jip for giving away, or he plays a back pass. He chose what for me was probably a reasonable option, the back pass. He did drill it a bit, but then Hammy, God bless him, and he's admitted this himself, and he made the wrong decision. These things are all split second, and none of us could do any better. But he tries to take a touch, first touch of a oil tanker, I'll say. It was dreadful, wasn't it? Just goes straight to their guy. Couldn't believe his luck. Bundles it over the line for his first goal for Horsham, and Sussex goes wild. I mean, what an absolute shambles that was. You've got yourself, probably undeservedly, you got yourself back in the game, and then you throw it away. I bet that was a long way home on Saturday night.
So first ever win in National League South, wasn't it, for Horsham? Mm-hmm. It's like Clive says, isn't it? I'm sure, and give James Hammond credit here. He went onto the socials, didn't he? And he
you don't need to do that.
He held both hands up, and but not his trotters, and apologised. I don't think he needed to do that. No, because it's exactly like you say. It's football moments. These things. It's a split second. In life you make decisions that you regret instantly. So, but yeah. Oh, it was. It was so gutting, wasn't it? Because, as you say, a beauty of a volley from player of the season so far, Ed Palmer. But them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks indeed. It's hard because in the moment of play beforehand, Hammy comes out and has to chase down a back pass that actually was played quite short to him.
Jay Folston, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite a short back pass. So I wonder if maybe that had a bit of an effect into the moment there for the winner for Horsham. But at the end of the day, I think the responsibility is on Hammy personally. We should have done enough to clear it, but as we've said, it's split second decisions. Sometimes you get them right, and sometimes you get them wrong. We've all made mistakes in life. If you haven't, then you haven't lived, personally. So, look, it's a shame. It's a disappointing result, but fair credit to Horsham. Again, they fully deserve the win. I don't think many Torquay fans will discredit that at all, and I think they're going to have a pretty good season with their home form. That'll be a tough place to go for many, and sometimes you've just got to take it on the chin, take your medicine and move forward. I think the best bit about that day for me was the fact it was only a half-hour journey home, but even that felt long. but that's another place I have to avoid now on the way to work. So no, well done, Horsham. Fair credit. I think it's for me though. I'm going to quickly bring up Denzel because I was impressed when he came on. He had about half an hour. He's got a long throw in his arsenal that caused a few problems for the Horsham defence, and he likes to get forward. So I actually felt before the incident, of course, that I'd rather have him there than Jordan Thomas personally. But that's just based on the Horsham game that I saw. So it's we're depleted as well at the moment. More injury concerns for the lads, and a very short turnaround going into Dover on the bank holiday Monday. So
would you like a Denzel quote?
Go on then.
So at the press conference Thursday afternoon, Paul Watton gave his views on him. He's pleased to have got Denzel into the building for certain. Says he's a work in progress. Says, listen, don't expect him to go straight into the starting lineup and go on and play the next 40 games. He's young. He's been in America. He's getting used to us. But the thing about him is he wants to learn and he's got a tremendous attitude. So I don't know where that leaves us really. We've got Jordan Thomas, who is having no luck at the minute. He keeps finding himself in invidious situations that aren't his fault, but they're not ending well. The two examples of that are being completely exposed at Maidstone, leads to the first goal. Completely exposed just after half-time at Playmore on Monday, leads to Dover's second goal. So you got him possibly struggling a bit. Certainly, not enjoying the full confidence of the support, possibly. Denzel Achimpong, of course, was the best player since sliced bread. And it's the old thing, isn't it? You see a guy on loan and everybody goes, God, he's good. We need him. He's shiny. He's new. He's brilliant. But actually, he's a work in progress and he probably isn't going to be starting many games. So I think where that leaves us is we've got two half-decent right-backs, but you can't put them together and make one really good one, unfortunately, can you?
Yeah, if you could mix them both together, you've got a great left back there, right back there.
You've got Denzel Thomas.
Denzel Thomas, absolutely, or Jordan Achimpong, or yes, either or. But let's go into Bank Holiday Monday then. So Dover at home, Dover, who have had a really good start to the season, all things considered. I think they were second at the time we played them. So again, no easy games in this division. Were you both there on Monday?
Yeah, brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed the football that was on display on Monday. Fan zone was there again as I approached the ground. It was really busy. So that was sort of like sort of conjuring up a little bit of atmosphere before actually getting into the ground itself. But yeah, it was a game that we should have been far and away comfortably ahead, but we just weren't clinical enough. I mean, in all honesty, Jordan Young could have had about 5 goals. He every time he was on the ball, he looked lethal. But obviously not that lethal because he came away with the 1 goal. But yeah, I thought it was I thought it was a great game. Clive.
Oh dear, I didn't enjoy it hugely. I'll be honest. It was quite stressful. I thought probably shouldn't be getting stressed watching Torquay. It should be enjoyable, shouldn't it? But it was hot. It was really hot. First half. This is going to be boring for most of the people that watch or listen to this podcast. But the way the sun and the roof are with Bristow's is that basically when I arrived at about 2:45, it was a very hot afternoon. It's probably 25, 26 degrees in Torquay. And I was really pleased to get into the shade. So sitting there, fortunately, that doesn't last because the sun peeps out from the corner and it makes its transit across the pitch. So the second half, we were all absolutely sweating like fat lasses, frankly. So there was that. there was a referee who, I don't know what Cody Cook has to do to get a free kick. I think probably he needs to have a dagger in his back and be bleeding from the mouth to get a free kick at the minute. He was getting manhandled. How they didn't get the shirt off his back, I'll never know. But of course, the referee gives nothing. What the referee does do is give probably the worst free kick decision in the history of the National League South to penalise Jordan Thomas for a really good challenge on the edge of the box, which Dover, fair play, capitalise on brilliantly with a beautifully little dinked free kick. Hammy, no chance with that whatsoever. I'm sure we'll talk about the game in a bit more detail, but the short version is we're behind twice. We equalised twice, including one from Jordan's right foot, which is a collector's item. And then, of course, last minute, we've got the big man, little man combo with the back heel from Ed Palmer, which Matt J snaffled, diverted past the keeper. And so, with 89 minutes gone, we've finally hit the front. But did I enjoy it? No, not really.
You got 5 goals, Clive. What more could you want?
Yeah.
What more could you want from a Torquay United game?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean about the Bristows, because where I sit, there's a huge perspex. So is it perspex or polycarbonate? What have you got? Anyway,
At the end.
that plastics thing at the side there, and by half time, I was Richard Dreyfuss from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The side of my face was just, because I turned to talk to somebody and I could see them, they sort of recoiled a little bit because my face was bright red. And like you say, it was sweltering, wasn't it? It was a real greenhouse. I just thought we played some really lovely football. It was, keeping it on the ground. It was nice to have the young lad Phillips, the Luton loanee, as well. Just watching him, do his thing. Clearly, he's got a nice little turn of pace there, and he does want to take players on. But what I will say is, I don't know if we were going to be going on talking about him, but I was just, sort of chatting about him in particular. He had a habit of looking a little bit lost now and again. We were sort of driving forward a little bit, and it was almost like Jay Folston was sort of trying to spur him on a bit, as if, willing him to move and get behind the mark, get behind the defence a little bit, and then be able to sort of cut in and what have you. So his movement for me wasn't great, but I don't know whether that's because he's a young lad, he's learning his trade. And I'm sure he's got plenty of time and room to improve. So that was an observation of the lone lad. But and then I think in the second half, pretty much by the sounds of it, he really faded. He didn't look tired or anything. He just, I don't know. He sort of faded further out of the game. But there we go. I'm sure.
Tired. Yeah,
yeah,
he was tired.
maybe.
Yeah. Paul mentioned that this afternoon. He said really 2 games in 3 days is a lot for somebody who's used to be playing academy football. I felt he was very good. I think there's definitely something there. He will take people on. He will look to get a cross in. He's a better winger now than Dylan De Silva was then.
Oh yeah.
Obviously he's a stopgap whilst we wait for Dylan Morgan to get fit, isn't he? That's the truth of it. But he's decent. He's quick, and like you said, Rachel, he loves to take people on.
Yeah,
he's
that's
got
always good to see.
Really.
But unfortunately, going on the injury front, the Gulls picked up yet another injury. Sundyer just before just before Dover went a goal up, and it looks like he's going to be out for some time as well. Clive, did you get any update on that from the brief?
Well, so the exact words this afternoon were, "It's not good." He's due a scan on Friday morning, so obviously he's got no chance for the weekend. But are we looking at weeks? Are we looking at months? Nobody knows the answer to that. But Paul was very downbeat this afternoon, and I'm sure that'll be one of the things that's sort of factored in, because I mean, talk about bad luck with injuries. You know, I know you've just got to get on with it, but you know, there's five players who you'd probably want in your starting lineup, and they're not available to us at the minute.
Well, that, I mean,
It's out for
you know,
10.
where we were slightly weak, you could say last season in midfield, he's now lost Callum Dolan, Nash Sundyer, so that's two automatic automatically on the team sheet, out for however long, and then Low Everton, who he was just starting to look the part, wasn't he? So that that's decimated your midfield before you've even got time to say Sonny Fish.
No.
So and that's another area, isn't it? Clive was talking about the fact that Cody Cook gets so much. He gets battered, doesn't he, week in, week out, with very little protection from the referees. Most, notably from Neil Pratt on Monday. But yes, it's last season. What did we have? We had who was our sort of long term?
Wasn't many, was it? Falston was out for a little bit.
Falston.
Dyer was out for a little bit, but
and now we've got it's standing room only if you can stand in the treatment room, isn't it?
it is
At
indeed.
Playmore.
But what we did see was Torquay United's never say die attitude, and to go a goal down, another injury. We fought back, and we'll go into the goals we scored. Cody Cook scores from the spot again, his second goal of the season, going at 1-1, and then obviously the goal that we do concede is poor defensive from us. We've got to cut those out. I mean, in the first 5 games of the season, we've gone behind 4 times. You can't keep going behind in games of football. And I think that was something we were saying last season. I think around the start of the last season, we were going behind in games and weren't really giving ourselves the chance. You're giving yourself a lot to do when you go a goal down in games. What we really want to see this season is Torquay United taking it to teams, starting strong, scoring a few goals, and let us control our own destiny. So, we're working hard for the points we've got. Let's be frank. We've had a really good start, all things considered. To be second after 5 games, it's a good start to the season. But with the injuries, there's room for improvement. I guess there's no room in the budget now. We bought in Denzel, but then you get Sundyer injured, and from what Paul Watton was saying in his weekly brief, it looks like there's no more room in the budget for more incoming. So, as Martin Ling would say, the answers are in the building. So, Torquay, we're gonna just have to push through and support the lads as best we can. But again, we've come back from behind and we've ended up winning the game late on. Jordan Young shows his quality once again. Another fantastic finish. That's 3 now for him. I'm sorry, Jordan, but I'm not counting that goal against Tottenham for you, mate. That was a clear own goal. And then right at the end, Matt J is there. It was a great flick from back heel, wasn't it, from Ed Palmer to get in the position. And Playmore goes home happy. All bar, 49 Dover fans. So fair credit, to be fair, on a bank holiday Monday. But yeah, it was a result we needed, especially after such a poor Saturday at Horsham. And of course, I think the biggest talking point that's hit the media this week is the mini BMW. That seems to be top talking point in the media. But hey, eyes are on Torquay United again, I guess. So and it seems to be quite good. I'll be interested to see how that goes in the winter. Get a feeling they're going to have to find something else. Maybe we can get Clive parachuting in and dropping the ball on the halfway line. That'd be something to see. Rachel, you had Jordan Young.
Julian wouldn't allow that, mate. I mean, can you imagine the crater?
Rachel,
I was going to say they tried that at Villa Park one Christmas and that didn't end well. So poor chap landed on the Holt end.
Maybe not then, Michael, if you're watching. But Rachel, you did the verdict and you had Jordan Young as man of the match. So if you want a brief word on Jordan Young's performance on Monday.
I mean, I sort of touched upon the point in the match report. He's here, he's there, he's every blinking where, isn't he? He was sublime. It was a fantastic performance from Jordan. You just got the feeling, every time he got the ball, he was going to do something with it. He was, it was positive. It was, he was. His distribution was good. It was just a joy to watch. Thoroughly enjoyed watching him play. And he is. We are. He uses quality, doesn't he? We are very fortunate to have. I mean, for me, he's at least half a season's worth of my season ticket price, because we all love entertainers, don't we? We all, every team wants to have that moment where you have gasps of sort of incredulity and joy when they're doing stuff. And no, well, we've got that in Jordan Young. He was brilliant, and he could have had about 5 goals. He had one effort in the first half. The Dover keeper pulled out a great save. But palmed it away for a corner, and not only that, his set pieces are good. I mean, he takes a good corner, doesn't he? He lofts it over, and I sometimes think we should be doing better with them. We've got sort of, and that's the other thing. We tend to, talking about Jordan Thomas being out in no man's land a few times. We have got into this habit of, when we take corner kicks, everybody bar Thomas forward, which leaves us vulnerable, doesn't it? It's sort of like a sort of a rush back for if obviously if we don't do anything with the corners and what have you. But yeah, lovely player, very lucky to have him. And please, I'm just saying to the football gods, you've taken 5 of our men. Leave Jordan Young alone. We need the quality input and output that he gives us.
Absolutely. Clive, have you got any players that caught your eye on Monday?
Matt Worthington was good again, wasn't he? Hard work for a ginger lad in the sunshine out there. He's got a lot of hard work coming as well, isn't he? It's going to be him and Dan Ayfield you fancy for the 2 games this weekend. But yeah, captain's performance really again. I don't want to be too downbeat about it. I mean, we were the better team on Monday, let's be honest. I mean, Dover scored with a free kick that shouldn't have been. They scored a pen, but I mean, how many chances did they have really? We were the better team. I think we are looking much more potent really at playing more than we were last year. But the flip side of that is the away form is something that needs to be good as well.
Does indeed. That 3-month spell last season between the start of December and middle of Feb cost us, didn't it? So it's not, we're 5 games in. It's a 46-game season, and I think we've got to have a bit of perspective here. Yes, on Saturday I was fuming at full time, but I make no apologies for that. I'm a passionate Torquay fan, and what you think at the moment, and then give yourself a day or two reflection. We're a passionate fan base, and we're desperate for success. And this season, I think a lot of Torquay fans expect us to be promoted this season, whether that's automatically as champions or whether that's through the playoffs. And we've got to go to these small grounds again, and we've got to find a way to put ourselves on the front foot and go at these teams. But again, no easy games this season. We've had a difficult, the first 3 away games this season are all on plastic pitches. I hate to use that excuse because we did all right, to be fair, last season. Really, in perspective, I think we only lost once on plastic, so I don't really have that as an excuse. I just think there needs to be a slight change in mentality from my perspective. I think maybe we give a bit too much respect to some of these teams. Yes, we respect the level, but in the same respect, to Horsham, they're part-time. And, I guess in true Torquay style, it's not the last part-time team we're going to lose to. But I just like to see let's go for it a little bit more, personally. That's just my opinion.
Well, you've been to both the away games this season, haven't you? And so, I mean, we've just sort of relied on the highlights, but it has to. We definitely need improvement in our performances, don't we? I mean, we can potentially rely on a semblance of a fortress Playmore, but title winners, they eke out and grind out results away from home, as well as obviously picking up the home points. So I'm not sure how. Paul Watton must, he gives them the team talks, and as you say, it's early days, 5 games in, but we want to see good performances away from home, don't we?
We do, but the season so far is a tiny sample size, and we're missing half the team as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you've got to give them a little bit of leeway on that. I think. I think if we could win one of the 2 games in London over the weekend, I think that's realistic. I mean, obviously, we'd love to get 6 points, but if we could win one of them, ideally draw the other one, I'd be happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah. You're saying about we've got the sort of an ever increasing injury list, but by all accounts, Louis Dennis is playing. I think Watton touched upon that, didn't he, in the press conference, that he might not be starting him, but for the fact that we have got such a huge injury list. I don't think he didn't put a percentage on how fit he is, but he's certainly not 100% fit, is he? He had a very good game, I thought, against Dover.
He's quality. He's absolute quality.
He really is. Yeah, he's hold up plays. He's got a lovely first touch, hasn't he? And a good range of passing. And yeah, he is. But if you think that's him at sort of, let's say, 75% fit, then we're in for a real treat, aren't we, when he gets fully fit?
100%.
I think the trouble is that with the best one in the world, he's 32. It does take longer to come back from knocks at that age, I think. So I don't think he's going to play 46 games. Well, he can't play 46 games. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be ever present from now on. I think he's likely to be a huge influence on the team, but he ain't going to be able to do it every week.
And especially, we've had such a tight window between games, 2 games in 48 hours over the bank holiday. We've got 2 long trips. Let's be frank, 2 tough away trips to Hemel and to Hampton. I mean, we'll go into that in a little bit, but they're not going to roll over for us.
Thank God we're not in Europe as well.
I know, right? It'd be amazing. It'd be crazy. But I guess that goes nicely into Kelly's Corner this week. Thank you to everyone who has written their views across this week. Rachel has done a fantastic job over the last 2 weeks in reading my corner in my absence. So I will take back control of my corner. And plenty of responses as well. So thank you, Yellow Army, this week to keeping me nice and busy. So this week we've asked, with the Gull'S on their travels for the next 2 games, how many points will United take back to Devon from both Hemel away and Hampton away? I'll start with the one on Facebook. Patrick Purse, thank you for writing in, Patrick. Says probably 3 points, though 2 draws is a possibility. The injury situation could have a significant influence, providing little opportunity to rest key players. Hemel is a tough one. They've already beaten Mark White's Dorking 2-0 at home, have taken points off Maidstone and Maidenhead, and Hemel do seem to start the season well. A draw should not be deemed a failure. However, I can see a loss. Hampton were one of my tips for the drop. Hampton start, making that prediction look somewhat silly, with wins against Dorking and Dagenham, with their only loss being to the muscle of Maidstone. Again, on current form, a draw doesn't seem too bad, though I believe they will end nearer the bottom than the top of the table. So backing, we begin the Hampton downturn with a win. Thank you, Patrick.
Tom, who was that?
That was Patrick Purse.
Patrick, we need to get him on here. That was brilliant.
That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Patrick, for writing in. And now we go on to the ones on X. Again, plenty of responses on here, so thank you. Chris Braund, nice to see you on Saturday, mate. He says, I think we really need 6 points and we need to do better on the plastic. Alan Wills says 4 points, a win at Hemel, draw at Hampton. That would maintain 2 points per game going into a month of no away league games. Of course, we've got the FA Cup second qualifying round to look forward to soon. Matt Lay says, think I'm the only one who thinks we'll get 6 points. I really think this team is capable of going on a good run earlier this season. Home form won't be a problem, So let's get our away form going now. Paul Mahone, good evening, Paul. He says both these teams have started well and both have already had difficult fixtures. They're going to be tough games. But I think a draw at Hemel and a narrow win at Hampton is doable. It's going to be another crazy league this season once again. We've got Matt, who says, personally think we could get 6 points. Get a good run of form going. I mean, we're decent at home, so I'm sure we can start getting some points on the road too. Full confidence in the lads. Corey Jeffrey says, I think we get 3 points at Hemel, but with how Hampton are doing and surprising everyone, I would go for a draw against Hampton and Richmond Borough. TTID says 4 points, a draw at Hemel and a win at Hampton. Ollie Ray, 3 points win at Hemel, lose to an on-form Hampton side though. Paul Hepworth, we need 4 points minimum, but I can see us losing one of them though, especially with our current injury list. Doubtful as to whether we'll be able to fill the bench. 1 win and 1 loss, I think, but can't say which way round though. Joe from Off the Line blog says Hemel will be a tough test under a top manager, a squad that has an obvious strength where we've got weaknesses, i.e. player strengths are our kryptonite. Expect they'll look to hit us in transition with an emphasis on wide channels and allow us to push high. And he says Hampton will be a tough test for a different reason, a fit, organised and hard-working side. They love a late goal. We will need to keep the ball moving and look to be patient versus a side very happy to sit in as they did so effectively against Dorking. Paul Dennis says obviously very frustrating at Horsham, but made up for it on Monday. Second in the table, and other fancy teams haven't set the place alight either. Still a long way to go, and anything can happen. Hoping for a couple of successful away trips before we tackle Slough. And finally, there's Ian Tyson, who says 3 points. Hopefully we can perform like last season at Hemel. Hampton are surprising everyone with their early season form. That will be a proper test as they'll be confident. Think we might slip up at the Beverley. Thank you, everyone, for writing in this week. A mixture of results, I think, fair to say. I think, personally, if we get 4 points from the next two, I think that's a pretty successful run.
Yeah. Are you going to Hampton, did you say, Clive?
Yes, absolutely. It's my
just
to my shame, it's my first away game of the season. Yeah.
Leave the pizza alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or not.
I'll only be eating food that I've paid for this season.
But before we go to Hampton, of course, there's the trip to Hemel Hempstead. A wonderful away day last season.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Over nearly 2,000 Torquay fans fighting, for the title and getting within touching distance of Truro. But
Cody hat-trick.
Cody hat-trick. Bunny's got his balls. No, I can't say. Cody's buddy's got his match ball. And it's going to be a difficult test. Hemel again have started really well. A draw with Maidstone. They've beaten Slough. Draws against Maidenhead and Dorking. And their only defeat has come at the hands of Dagenham and Redbridge. So, again, plastic pitch. Be interesting. It'll be a tough one. If we're going to go into predictions, I think it's going to be 1-1 between us and Hemel.
Oh, I don't know. I think I think a couple of predictions were saying that we're going to win one and draw one. So I'm going with that. It is difficult to know which. I've got a feeling we'll win at Hemel and draw at Hampton.
Clive?
There's a reason why bookies drive Rolls Royces and we don't. And I don't know. I'll say 1 each.
1 each. And then, of course, Hampton, again, everyone's, thought they were going to be relegation fodder. I saw them in a pre-season game at home and thought they looked absolutely dreadful. So naturally, they've started really well. A goalless draw against Salisbury, went to Dorking with a fantastic defensive display, 3-0 win there. Their only defeat coming at Maidstone, but then beaten Dagenham and Chesham. So they've had some tough games there and have come out on top. And that's going to be a very, very difficult game. I do have a quick voice note from a Hampton fan, Tommy Rance. He's just going to share his views in the Goals I View opposition. And I'll leave that for Tommy to take now.
Hi, all you Talky Talk. Hope you're all well. Loving the podcast as ever, guys. I'm Tommy Rance, been a supporter of Hampton and Richmond Borough all my life, and I'm looking forward to our game on Tuesday night. We've had a brilliant start against all expectations. We lost all our players again, but it was probably needed after a very poor end to the season last year, where after beating you guys, I think we only won 2 or 3 games out of the last 20. So we were very poor, almost sleptwalked into a relegation battle, which I was expecting at the start of last season, but from the position we were, it was a bit disappointing. But we had a bit of a turbulent time with owners and stuff. Not as bad as you guys, but it still really hindered us in the back end of last season and going into the summer. So the ownership change we had was quite late in April, which meant we were really struggling to recruit players, and everything off the pitch was put back a couple of months. So we struggled. So we had to form a completely new squad this summer. And after 5 games, I mean, I could not be happier. We've got some good players. So Davide Rodari, currently our top scorer with 3 from his opening 5. We've got experience, the likes of Sam Deadfield playing in the middle. Reece Grigo Cox, ex Dagenham and Woking, has been scoring goals. And we've just got a really hard work inside this year. We've changed formation. We've gone to a back 3, and it really suits us because we're working really, really hard. And it's different. It's different to last year where we looked like a prettier side. This year, it's very hard working. It's very dedicated, but we're grinding out results, and I think excellent so far. We started off with a point against Salisbury, which we defended really well. Salisbury were unlucky not to win the game, and then the madness started. To be honest, with a 3-0 win over Mark White's Dorking, which was a stupendous result. They battered us, but we smashed and grabbed 3 goals on the break. So I can't complain. And then a double win over Bank Holiday with wins against Dagenham and Chesham. And they were excellent results. What I will say is that I think that the 2 games we've coming up, Ebbsfleet and now you guys on Tuesday, are both complete free hits for us. So, I mean, we've got 10 points from a really tough opening run of fixtures, and I'd have been chuffed with 4 points from the opening 7. So to have 10 is an amazing achievement. So credit to Jules and the management team. But Tuesday night against you boys will be a complete free hit for us. Hope you enjoy lots of the stadium renovation. Now got a big scoreboard behind the goal, as Tommy would have seen when he was down there for the Hanworth game. And the pitch is in brilliant condition, proper box nets, and everything's just a lot nicer. So yeah, I look forward to seeing lots of you guys. Make sure to stay behind for a pint afterwards. Prices are down, and yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Tommy, for your insight there. Looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. So anything there is a plus for Hampton.
Cheers, Tommy.
And also, of course, Sam Deadfield. If you remember the home game against St Albans last season, I'm sure he'll get a warm welcome from the Torquay faithful. I'm going to go for a classic 2-1 Torquay win, because there's no way in hell am I predicting us to lose at Hampton or Richmond Borough.
Go on, Rach.
Oh, well, I think I said, yeah, we'll beat Hemel, and I'll go 1-1. 1-1 at Hampton.
Yeah, I think we'll win there. Let's have another clean sheet. We'll go for a sneaky little 1-0.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. I must mention, just before we do end this episode this week, a message to Stan, currently suffering from leukemia and battling leukemia. So I just want to say, mate, from all of us here at Goals Eye View, and from all our friends group as well. I hope your recovery is going well, mate. And I hope to see you very, very soon, fit and well, and keep fighting, mate. We're all behind you. And hopefully Talkie smash you on Saturday.
Yeah, bless
And
you,
talking
Dan.
of smashing us on Saturday, Dom Roman has had an absolute blinder with his predictions so far. We've got a little Goals Eye View prediction league this season. He's 10 points clear already at the top. 3 correct results. I mean, he predicted the Horsham result. So work to do for us, guys and girls.
He'll be driving a Rolls Royce soon. So Rolls
And he's wi-
Royce, Rolls
And he's
Royce.
winning on the bet between me and him with Cody Cook and Jordan Young with the goals. Of course, Jordan Young winning that one 3-2. Right. I think that'll be a good one to end the episode this week. I think we've done a good enough job without Swanee. Come back soon, mate, please. This has been so stressful. Yeah, this has been Goals Eye View. Thank you very much for your support, everyone, and for continuing to watch and support the podcast. Please do give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one when we've smashed both Hemel and Hampton. Come on.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.